Hello and welcome to a special episode of Come Fly with Lee. Today's a special flight, so I'm flying my dad in his second ever flight in a gyroplane. Today we're going to fly from Halfpenny Green, Wolverhampton Airport to Shobden, and we're going to route via Bridge North, Ironbridge, Craven Arms, Ludlow, Leominster into Shobden. Here you can see the planned route and the forecasted winds quite strong from the southwest. And this is our paper chart, showing our return leg on there as well, but this video is just our outbound flight. So we're taxiing along runway 34, getting into position for our engine and pre-takeoff checks, which will be onto runway 22 departure. We can just see two Juno military helicopters coming in to land to the right hand side of runway 22. Now just in the process of pre-rotation, getting the rotor from 0 RPM up to takeoff RPM. The aircraft of the two helicopters are just transitioning into a low level departure, and we can see those to the right hand side of the screen now, routing low level out to the southwest. The aircraft's now getting airborne. We're building up our airspeed just above the ground, trying to achieve about 65 miles per hour, at which point we can then bring the control column back and establish the aircraft into a climb. Keeping a close eye on the temperatures and pressure gauges, make sure everything stays within parameters, and keeping a good lookout for other circuit traffic and the low level rotary aircraft. With a successful climb out, we're now established in the cruise, and our first reference point on the chart to the left of us, and that's Bridge North. To the left we can see the Clee Hills, which we'll find later on, and to the right is the Wrekin. Transiting on a heading of about 330 or just off, we're transiting from Bridge North up to Ironbridge, and to the right we can see the River Severn. In the Ironbridge area now we can see the Ironbridge Power Station, or what was. Decommissioning process has already started and the cooling towers have been brought down. This is my first flight in the area since the cooling towers have gone. A big landmark for aviators, nice easy reference point to check your position. Lots of plant equipment digging out the sand underneath the cooling towers, quite evident. At this point Dad starts talking about the Wrekin Hill, which you can see in the distance, and we wasn't planning on flying over it or near it. We were going to turn and follow Wenlock Edge, but we route over towards it and we see some people on top of it, and well, we have a little play in the wind. So throughout this, it's important for us to remember rules of the air. We need to make sure we maintain at least 500 feet from any people beneath or any structures, so we comply with that throughout. Bring the aircraft round to the left into wind. As we do that, you'll be able to notice a significant difference on the ground speed. We're almost hovering. Ground speed is very low, almost zero at this point now. This allows us to start a vertical descent. Important to keep a good lookout for any other aircraft in the area and anything beneath us. Turn to the right, you can notice the ground speed significantly starts to come on as we get blown downwind, and a left turn again back into wind brings that ground speed right back down. Still losing height at this point, thinking about bringing on the power shortly. Don't want to allow us to get too low. Power's on now, we can start to see the forward airspeed starting to build up, and the ground falls away round to the left. One last wave to the people on the top before we now proceed to get ourselves back onto course. So the next reference point that we've got marked on the map is Wenlock Edge. We're a bit further north than what I was expecting, so we need to transition back across the River Severn. You can see the meanders on the river there, and they're quite noticeable on the map as well that we've got in the aircraft, so we can see exactly where we are, just clear of the shorebreed mats. Here we can see we're flying parallel to Wenlock Edge. It's quite prominent and obvious to see. And now we're just flying over a quarry that runs along Wenlock Edge. At this point we start to come left of the planned course. This is going to save us a little bit of time. A little bit of lower cloud is starting to roll in. So to bring us back on time, we cut the corner off, no longer flying along Wenlock Edge, we're now flying along the Corve Dale, and a road that's quite distinctively marked on the map we can see we're flying parallel to on the left of us. Before we proceed to our next point of reference, which is Ludlow, cutting off the reference of Craven Arms, tracking directly to Ludlow Racecourse, which the road runs down to, and we can see the racecourse now on the nose, just about where my helmet is the racecourse. Coming to the left we can see the racecourse on the right now. It's a racecourse with a golf course in the middle and a road running straight through the middle of it all, just for the heck of it. So having flown over the racecourse, we're now positioning route directly to Ludlow itself, which is just to the right hand side of us now. Just pointing out Ludlow Castle to Dad in the back. So we're now sort of contacting Shobden on the radio, getting an update on the airfield information and planning our join. To the left of the screen now we can see our last reference point, which is Leominster. Or Leominster, however you want to pronounce it. At sufficient height, we're now reporting overhead Shobden and descending on the dead side of the circuit. So we're descending down to a minimum height of 1,500 feet on the dead side of the circuit due to published noise abatement procedures. You can see the airfield just to the left of us. You can see the altimeter now reading about 1,600 feet on the QFE, which is the aerodrome pressure setting. Finally now, turn from base leg, left turn onto finals. Wind reported to be straight down the middle of the runway. Carrying a little bit of extra forward airspeed than normal due to the strong winds of the day and also other circuit traffic that were starting to catch us up on the downwind leg. We were able to maintain adequate separation and they were able to land after us after we'd touched down. So a nice stable approach, resulting in quite a nice landing. So unlike most fixed wings aircraft, from the moment of touchdown, we soon come to a stop. Rolling the aircraft forwards just so we can vacate the runway promptly to allow that aircraft to land behind us. We've now cleared off, taxiing across the grass. It was quite muddy and wet, to be honest with you, and we were given good advice just to maintain left or right to the centre, just to remain clear of the ruts. You can see the windsock there blowing nice and strong down the runway. With the aircraft at a stop, the aircraft shut down and all systems turned off, and then we get out the aircraft, and then one of my first priorities now is to get that rotor tie on, just to get that rotor into position and secured in the wind. And carry the rotor tie down in the pocket of the aircraft, all secured away. It's quite big and quite bulky, but a necessary piece of equipment to carry with us. Rotor tie on, locked into position, that's it, that's us done. Stretch as an hour-and-a-half flight time. The flight on the way back a lot shorter and a lot quicker. We did it in just over half an hour, mostly due to the wind.